This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
All right, Kurt, you ready to do this here? We're going to cue this thing up. I'm very excited. If you are watching us over on adfreeshows.com, you'll be able to also watch this along with us. If you're watching on Impact Plus, you can queue up 157.15. That's where we're going to start here on the time code. So I'll give everyone a quick second to do that. I'm so excited. And we are going to start this, Kurt, with a little snippet of a Samoa Joe promo that I'll put the volume up for so we can hear what he's got to say. Because you said it before, Samoa Joe, I think, an all-time great promo. His seriousness comes through, and I can't wait. So let's see what our friend Joe here has to say as we start things off in 3, 2, 1.
Some very strong words from Kurt Angle in your direction, Samoa Joe, as you are about to step into the 30-minute Ironman matchup. The World Heavyweight title shot at against all odds now on the line as well. The stakes have been raised.
Angle, welcome to the end game. Angle, welcome to the climax. Angle, welcome to our final resolution. You see, when we started this, it was about pride. It was about who was better, who was the best in the world. And when you realize who was the best, Kurt, you decided to make it personal. You made this personal! So, Kurt, I give you this promise. For your crimes, for what you have done to me, I will torture you. For 30 minutes, I will pummel you. For 30 minutes, I will beat you into the ground until you realize that you cannot handle what you have unleashed. For not only have you transgressed against me, Kurt, now you stand in the way of what I want most, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Kurt, I promise you this, you will be broken.
No offense, Kurt, but I'm rooting against you here after hearing a promo like that from Samoa Joe.
Like
that
I said,
was insane.
Yeah, Joe's very articulate. One of the best promo guys I've ever seen. I remember when he inducted me into the TNA Hall of Fame, and the words that he came up with and the way he made sense and the way he talked about me was so incredible. I had to actually hug and kiss the guy. I mean, he put me over big time, and he was so articulate about how he said it and the words he used. Joe is a very intelligent individual. Very intelligent.
I think pro wrestling is at its best when you feel something when you watch it, whether that is feeling excitement for a competitor, feeling empathy for a babyface that is selling, feeling fear, intimidation. I think that's when wrestling is at its finest. So when you see a performer like Samoa Joe go out there and be able to channel that intensity, to me, Kurt, that's like pro wrestling at its best. I don't think it gets much better than that.
No, when you get the fans involved and you get the fans caring about you, there's nothing better than that.
And I see that we're getting a recap here of the feud. I always love a good video package. WWE, man, is like undefeated at the video package. I feel like they are the gold standard.
Yes, they are.
Do any, I know that I'm putting you on the spot here, but do any like video package for any matches across the years stand out to you that maybe helped stay in your mind for a bit?
You mean like in WWE?
In any WWE or TNA, any favorites stick out to you?
You know what? When I did my return video package, when I had my neck surgery, they did a song called Clocks, and they did a segment. It was like a 6-minute segment. It was incredible. It just got me so fired up and hyped up about being back that I wanted to crush everybody. I wanted to make everybody tap out.
Well, that's exactly what the goal of a good promo package should do. And here we go. We get Joe coming out. Again, intensity is paramount when you are talking about performers like yourself. How do you get yourself in that mode of intensity when you are preparing for a match like this, especially when you know you're going to be wrestling a guy for 30 minutes? Is it easy to snap into that, or do you have to psych yourself into a certain mentality?
It's pretty easy, especially when you have an opponent like Samoa Joe. You know he's going to bring it, and you're going to have to bring it too. And you know you're going to have to up your game. So you need to be ready and be ready for anything and know that Samoa Joe's going to be coming at you. So, you know, you just have to be prepared.
The pay-per-view buy rate for this is about 35,000 here. And what I love about this, Kurt, the tagline for this pay-per-view is Joe is going to kill you.
Of course it is.
I hope you didn't feel that on a personal level. I think that was just a little bit of a mantra for him at the time, but it certainly seems like he's ready to do that. But you look the part here too, man. I mean, you are very much out there and ready to kick some ass. I just saw you give the American flag to a fan at ringside. Was that somebody that you knew beforehand, or are you just giving that to a fan?
No, that's not a fan. That's somebody I knew that's going to keep
Okay.
the American flag and give it to me when the match is over.
That's good. I
don't hand out American flags.
I was a little concerned about that, but I noticed it and I had to ask. All right, man, here we go. 30-minute Ironman match. I'm curious because, Kurt, I've said this to you several times. You are like my Mount Rushmore of all-time great in-ring talents. And I'm not saying that just to blow smoke here, but the idea of putting together a 30-minute Ironman match versus a 60-minute Ironman match, how is that different as a performer?
It's not much different. I mean, if you're going to go 30 minutes, you might as well go 60 minutes. You know, it is twice as long, but once you're in it, 20 minutes, you don't really keep track of time. It's, you know, so whether it's 30 or 60, it doesn't really matter. An Ironman match is an Ironman match, and they're long as shit regardless.
I'm curious if other talents share your sentiment that it doesn't really matter if you're going 60 because you're a machine.
For me, it doesn't matter.
And I'm not sure everyone else is. And, you know, Physique, you're in peak physical shape here. I mean, you're ripped here. But Samoa Joe is someone that has always had a mixed reputation with his physique. He's a bigger guy.
Right.
But if you've watched his career, you know how athletic he is and the type of shape he's in. What are your thoughts on that assessment of him? Because that is something that has followed him around everywhere he's gone.
Well, you know what? The whole thing of looking different, you know, looking heavier or being heavier, I think that's no longer, you don't have to have a chiseled body to be in professional wrestling. I think Samoa Joe was an ambassador for wrestlers that didn't have that physique, that wanted to do pro wrestling. I think Joe was a guy that people could look up to, that didn't have an incredible body physique, that these people could look up to. So I think that he was one of the guys that led the charge in professional wrestling, that you don't have to have physique like a Greek god.
And think about how much that has resonated in recent years. You see guys like Kevin Owens, who doesn't look like your traditional pro wrestler, who we know is so talented, right? Is Kevin Owens someone that you would have loved to have gotten in the ring with?
Oh yeah, I love Kevin Owens. His ability in the ring. You know, from the first day when he beat John Cena when he started, I was a huge fan of his. His repertoire and everything that he does. And you know what he does? He's even more frumpier than Joe. but you know what he can do in the ring is incredible.
He's amazing.
He's a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So there was one thing that I noticed here in the beginning of this match, Kurt. Joe got the best of you to start, and you just have it for the second time already. We're not even 3 minutes in here. You've rolled out of the ring. You're the guy who wanted this match, and now Joe has bested you right out of the gate. Is that something that you're consciously trying to tell in this story here? Because you were all cocky coming into this, and now all of a sudden Joe's got your number.
Well, I think that's the whole thing is, you know, Joe, I underestimated Joe, and Joe's a lot more dangerous than I thought he was. And this is me backing out of the ring and taking a few seconds to reprogram my mind to make sure that Joe's not continuing the momentum of getting over on me. I need to take a break and reverse the here, and I do it right here. So this is a usual psychology with heels. You back out of the ring, the babyface out wrestles you, then you do something and you shut them down for the heat.
I was actually just going to bring this up. Recently, Bully Ray tweeted that it's like a tale as old as time. Shine, heat, comeback. You can do that in just about any match, but it's a little different here because this is an Iron Man match. There are going to be multiple falls, or at least there's the possibility of there being multiple falls. So can you follow that pattern for a match like this? Shine, heat, comeback? Or I was going to say.
Oh, you have the shine, the heat, and then you have a finish, and then you're going to have heat again, and then you're going to have a finish, and then you'll have heat again, then you'll have a finish. So it's not the normal psychology of a regular match. Iron Man matches are a lot more difficult, more complicated.
Who teaches you how to do something like that? Because you could go to Dr. Tom's school all you want, but I doubt Dr. Tom is teaching you all about Iron Man matches when you're learning how to run the ropes.
Nobody taught me. I had to learn on my own. The first Iron Man match I did, I believe, was with either Brock Lesnar or Shawn Michaels, and I can't remember. It was Brock, and it was a 60-minute Iron Man match.
Incredible. SmackDown, right?
Iron Man match, and it was, I believe I had a match with Chris Benoit, a 30-minute Iron Man match before that. Dude, and that's where I got my practice. Yeah,
my man, listen,
incredible. But let me tell you this: he carried me through that match. He taught me a lot in that match, and that enabled me to have the match with Brock Lesnar and be able to know what to do in that match, because Chris Benoit taught me a lot.
Let me tell you something. That's not just an Iron Man match. That is Ultimate Submission, that match, you and Benoit. and there's no pinfalls. It's only, so you're doing a submission Iron Man match.
We're limited,
which is, you're limited. To this day, Kurt, that is one of my all-time favorite matches. It is like art. And hopefully one day I get to watch that match with you in long form, because I'll sit here just ready to, I'll ask you 50,000 questions. So we'll wait on that one.
It was a very complicated match. And like I said before, I was limited. I mean, you only had submissions, no pinfalls. And that match is not easy to do. No,
it is not. Well, this is not easy to do. You just did a belly-to-belly overhead throw on Samoa Joe. Getting a guy like that up certainly can't be easy. And all of a sudden, you've grounded this big man here. How do you manage to suspend disbelief a little bit here, where you're putting a beating on a guy the size of Joe? How do you make that believable for the audience?
You have to be intense. It's all about intensity. It's how you look, how you act. It's how you carry yourself. If you show you're an animal, the fans will look at you as an animal.
I just noticed that Earl Hebner is the ref for this match. He's a guy who has done plenty of Iron Man matches himself. Does it help to have a guy like him in there when you're trying to set a pace?
Yeah, to have him with experience, especially in this match, because I got knocked out in this match. And Earl Hebner and Samoa Joe had to call the rest of the match to me. So having Earl knowing that he had experience in Iron Man matches, it made me feel better, because when I did get knocked out, he was able to call the match to me. And that was really important.
I am so glad you brought that up, because I think it is about to happen here in about 50 seconds or so. Do you remember the spot where it happened specifically?
I do remember. Okay. When I hit my head, yes.
Okay, so it hasn't happened yet, right?
Oh.
Okay, so let's point it out. If you can point it out for anyone who's watching with us here on Ad Free Shows, or if you're watching at home when it happens. I think we're less than a minute away or so, as Joe is trying to fight his way out of this lock here, back to his feet. Let's see. Man, he's a cement truck coming at you. I mean, that is crazy.
But you know what? Samoa Joe is really light on his feet.
Yeah.
You said, hey, it takes a horse to get him up to belly him. Samoa Joe jumps for you. He's a great athlete. He's got incredible skills, and he's one of the best athletes I've ever wrestled.
Still scoreless here, as we are at 21:50 seconds now. So we're about 10 minutes into this thing, a third of the way through. And it's so interesting to me, the psychology of a match like this, where you have to have so many peaks and valleys. And you just said to me that a lot of this is very much called on the fly and improvised.
Well, you know, the thing is, you have to kill time, and it's really hard to do that without losing the interest of the fans. you know, especially when you have a hold in like this, and you're trying to kill a little bit of time, like 2 minutes, you know, you're chancing the fans, you know, losing the attention of the fans. And you have to be very careful about how you do this. So you want to give them what they want, which is action eventually. But at the same time, you want to calm them down and force them to cheer for you so you can give them a spot. So you kind of work with the fans and they work with you.
And a lot of times with rest hold spots, you'll see a guy just get someone in a chin lock and just hold them there. Yeah, wrench their neck around. But what I love that you're doing here is you're keeping that intensity on. It looks like you're trying to choke this guy out. It looks like you're trying to. Is that the key to keeping their attention in a situation like that?
It's all on how you present your body, and you have to show intensity even when you're not being intense. In other words, if you're not punching and kicking, you have to get the chokehold on. You have to keep choking them and jerk and choke them and show the expression in your face that you're intense. As long as you keep doing that, you're going to have the interest of the fans. But once you stop that, you could lose interest of the fans.
All right, here comes Joe now. A little bit of a comeback here, gets you up for the suplex.
I believe the concussion's happening here very soon.
Okay, so we're about 20 minutes in, or we're 10 minutes in, 20 minutes remaining. Everything seems fluid so far. Real good match. Big strikes. Trading blows. Oh, dude, I love when Joe does those stutter punches. Always looks so good. All right, here you go. To the outside. Is that it right there?
I think that was it when I hit my head. I hit it on the ground. I also think I hit it on the ring apron when I went through the ropes.
And okay, so that's so interesting there because Joe just came at you with a suicide dive. Now you as the wrestler
missed him.
That's what I was just about to say. You as the wrestler are supposed to catch him, but you're kind of in a daze.
I was loopy. I didn't know. I didn't even know he was coming. So I had no idea Joe was going to dive out at that particular time because I got knocked out.
It's that fight or flight response, and internally you're not conscious to it, and you step out of the way because you see a giant bulldozer of a man coming at you, but you're like, oh, wait a minute, I think I'm supposed to catch this guy too.
You can tell I'm out of it right here.
Okay, so you just said you can tell that we're out of it. What are the telltale signs that you're out of it? Because this is not the first time you've been concussed.
Glassy eyes, mouth wide open, expression, you know, just the way I present my face.
So you just kicked out at 1. Is that Joe or Earl telling you kick out at 1?
I believe so. I don't remember because I don't remember anything after this.
So you remember
right here, Joe's calling everything to me.
Okay. Hit you with the power slam. Beautiful. Kick out at 2. There's such a sense of urgency with your kickouts too, because it's like you are being told on the fly here, Kurt, get out. Get out. You're like, okay.
No, it's crazy because SummerSlam in 2000, I got a concussion too, but I was able to kick out. It's like your body, even though your mind's not there, your body, you know, your reflexes are still there, and it remembers certain things about wrestling. In other words, if you're getting pinned and you kick out after 2, you're going to continue to kick out, even if you don't know you're doing it.
So Joe's calling things here at this point. Now, I know you just said you needed Earl for a match like this because Earl helped you walk it through. How does a referee help call a match?
Well, he's present when you put the match together, and he remembers all the finishes, the submissions and the pinfalls, and he remembers where they are in the match. So at least he can call those to you. But for the most part, these spots here where no finishes, Joe's calling it to me.
Oh boy, you're in precarious position here, Kurt. And you somehow, despite being knocked out, slipped through that.
This wasn't as smooth as we planned it to be, probably because of the concussion.
But you know what, though? Like, the way I look at it, Kurt, you're in a fight for your life right now. Yeah. So if something doesn't look smooth, that's okay. You tap out here. So Joe is up 1-0. That's a lot. Kurt Angle tapped out. That's a lot.
Down 1-0.
Was that something that you were always protective of, you know, Kurt Angle shouldn't tap out unless it's this because he is a legit Olympic hero? Like, is there any mentality with that?
Not when I first started out. I would do anything, and because I started out as a heel, and heels don't bravely not tap out. They actually tap out faster than you're supposed to. So I was taught early on to forget about my past accomplishments and welcome to pro wrestling. And you're going to have to do it just like everybody else does it. So you're right about me being an Olympic gold medalist, but at the same time, I was taught you're going to tap out just like everybody else. And that's just the way.
Who would have thought that the man that walked into an office meeting and said, well, I can never lose, would end up tapping out just like everybody else?
I changed my mind right away after I signed with WWE.
I think that was a good decision, Kurt. I think you made the right call there.
I feel strongly that saving money is important. You know, if it's not something we worry about now, boy, we are really going to worry about it later. And I want to help you get out of debt faster and do it with cheaper monthly payments. I'm talking to you if you're in a 30-year loan. Now is the time to take years off of your loan. We're routinely helping our listeners cut 5, 10, even 15 years off their loan. And you can do this without perfect credit with no money out of pocket. You've just got to start at savewithconrad.com.
So let's see here. So we're about halfway through this match now. This match is flying by. Like a 15-minute match can normally feel like you're watching a 15-minute match. That didn't feel like I just watched a 15-minute match.
No, it was pretty
What do you credit that to?
Joe and I putting on a great match, great performance, with a lot of action. You know, even though we have a lot of holds in this match, there's been a lot of action in this match, especially in the 15 minutes. And we knew that the first 15 minutes was not going to be as exciting as the second 15 minutes. But I think we did a pretty good job here.
And that's with you concussed. And I think that's pretty incredible. So right now you're wrenching it back on Joe.
I'm probably asking, what's next, Joe? What's next? Please tell me what's next.
That is just so crazy to me that your mind can literally block out everything because you're out on your feet and you can't wrap your head around what is going on. It's the human body, man. It's insane.
Yeah, when your brain's not there, it's not there, I guess.
Now, Joe is 28 years old here.
He looks
oh man, he's got a baby face. That reversal on the Olympic slam was awesome. Getting you out of that.
Yeah, it's usually big guys don't do it, but I knew Joe could. I love that how Joe hits me too.
When you see someone work like this, how Joe's working, I'm happy that Joe got a WWE run. Was it everything that it could have been? Probably not. But it does have to make you think what Joe could have done as he just tapped out to the ankle lock, so we're tied up at 1. It has to make you think what Joe could have done in his prime in WWE. How high of a mountain do you think he could have climbed?
Oh, he could have gone as far as anybody else has ever gone. I think Joe had the ability to be as big as Kurt Angle or even Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit. I wouldn't put him in the same category as Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock, but I think that Joe would have been a major star.
But let me ask you this, though. You know Vince McMahon extremely well, and especially at this time, you knew Vince very, very well and his little idiosyncrasies. Do you think he would have gotten it with a guy like Samoa Joe at this time, or would he have not viewed him for as agile and athletic as he is?
I don't know. I think that at this point in time in 2007, I think that Vince would have said his body doesn't look good.
That's exactly what I think too.
And it's a shame because, but I do understand, you know, Vince is looking for certain types of wrestlers with certain builds. And I know that that's like the cool thing, the right thing to have the perfect body. And, you know, it's what everybody strives for. Mm-hmm. But I think, you know, we're in an imperfect world. And I think that someone like Samoa Joe deserves a chance to be one of the best because he's proven that he can do it in the ring. Just because of his looks, he should be, you know, denied the ability to be a big star in WWE.
I've always said that Joe was probably about 10 years ahead of his time because
without a doubt, yeah.
If he was, and I'm glad he got to wrestle you in TNA and got these amazing matches. Honestly, my favorite match between you guys is the one in the cage, the singles match in the cage. I thought that was just so different and real.
Submission match,
the one at Lockdown,
the MMA match.
Yeah, the MMA match. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing that match.
The intensity of that match, man. You talk about intensity here.
Oh, what? Joe's the only person I could have done it with.
Yeah.
Be honest with you. That type of match, MMA submission match in a cage at lockdown. Yeah, Samoa Joe's the only guy I know I could have done that with.
Well, it's funny because at the time, ironically, Impact, there are at least rumors that they're going to bring in Bob Sapp for a program with you.
Well, Bob and I discussed doing a fight in Japan. Yes, I'm crazy. I was going to actually fight Bob Sapp in Japan. And it changed to TNA, having a wrestling match in TNA, but nothing ever came to fruition. It just got dropped by the wayside.
How do you think that would have gone?
Well, I would have gone over in TNA.
That's
I don't
right.
think I would have beat him in the fight in Japan. I think the guy's probably a little bit too big and a little too strong for me.
All right, so you just tapped out Joe again with another ankle lock, and now you are up 2-1. You've just made one of the top baby faces in the company tap twice.
In a row.
In a row, consecutively. Is there any concern of how that may make the baby face look at the end of the day?
Well, this is a different type of match. It's an Iron Man match, and does it really matter how many times he's going to tap out? This is just one match. If it was several matches, I understand. But, Joe's going to get some submissions on me. I'm going to get some on him. You have to remember, this is a very long match, and there's going to be more than one submission.
We've got about 10 minutes left in it. And this is kind of that classic story, right, Kurt, where now the babyface has to climb a mountain because he is behind, and he has to overcome something. That's kind of pro wrestling 101. Oh,
yeah. The babyface, you always want him to be behind when you're in the final 10 minutes of the match. You want him chasing to try to win because you want the fans to get behind him. So if he's ahead, it gives the fans no reason to cheer as long as he continues to stay ahead. But if he's behind, the fans are going to root him on.
Are you a subscriber to the belief that there's more money in the chase than there is in the title run? Because that's like a mantra in pro wrestling. Do you believe in that?
I believe so. I think there's more money in the chase than the title run.
Kind of thinking like Bryan Danielson at WrestleMania, all that good stuff. And
right.
Now Joe is on the mend here, under 10 minutes to go. We should mention, by the way, you heard it in the promo, the number one contender spot is on the line in this match. So it's not just a personal feud. Now this is a quasi prize fight here.
It's for the world championship, a shot at the world title.
Yeah. Here's Joe firing up. Joe is so good at firing up. Step up. Man, I'd be so concerned. Joe knows you're out here. Does that change how he works? Does he have to be less snug because he knows that you're out on your feet?
I don't think Joe really cares, to be honest with you. I think Joe just continued to be Joe, and I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing.
Well, to be fair,
to make sure that his head bumped on the ground. But if I'm going to angle slam somebody, their head's going to hit the canvas. There's nothing I can do about it. So I don't think Joe was trying to be careful. I think Joe was just trying to get through the match, especially with me having a concussion. I was a pain in the ass to Joe in this match.
To be fair, maybe this is just one giant prolonged receipt for you for putting that ankle lock on him when he hurt his knee, when he hurt that MCL.
You might be right.
Because, you made him all black and blue.
Purpose.
You made him all black and blue, apparently. So now he's just going to get one up on you.
You can see all the black and blue marks on him.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what this is. But, you mentioned that you're knocked out here. Honestly, Kurt, it's not apparent. It's really not apparent. Like, to you it is because you've seen it and you know what you look like knocked out, and he just ties things up here at the Muscle Buster. But you don't look like you're out of it. You're staying with him stride for stride.
Well, if you saw earlier, you saw me mess up on an angle slam, and Joe ended up falling, and I ended up covering him, and it ended up being a blown spot. That was me. I forgot the spot. And so for the most part, it seems like I'm coherent and I'm heavily into the match, but there are times when I miss some spots, and that's because of the concussion.
Yeah. And a lot of times in situations like this, you go home early, but you can't in a match like this because it's an Ironman match.
Yeah. You have to go to the end.
And it happened.
About it.
It happened so early in the match too. There's still 2/3 of the match to go. That's such a tough position to be in. And I feel like more than anything, this is a real test for Samoa Joe at this point, because he has to carry you and in a match with such high stakes. And do you feel like he passed the test here?
Oh yeah, but you know what? I know after doing this with Joe, I know that anytime I got a concussion, I know Joe's going to take care of me, because he was able to do it here. He proved it to me.
Well, you guys would have many more matches after this. So we're tied up with 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go, 2 falls apiece. And now Kurt Angle is going to work on that bad knee that he made all black and blue.
That's his MCL knee too. This is not good.
Do you have
to walk on the other leg?
Do you have to be consciously more aware of that in this, or are you just bringing the intensity?
Well, I forgot. I forgot that Joe injured his knee. I have a concussion, so I'm on the wrong leg right now, because this is his injured leg.
But we're also getting a peek into just how innate you are, because even though you're out on your feet, subconsciously your mind tells you work on the injured leg, like you work over the injured leg, like in pro wrestling kayfabe terms, work on the injured leg, so you're telling the story. But the guy is shoot hurt and it's not registering with you.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it.
No, it's okay. Well, roll through here. You guys are so good, man. You guys are so good. So this is
actually better than I expected it to be. I don't remember it being this good.
So you just went up 3-2 after that sneak pin. When's the last time you watched this match?
Geez, probably 2010.
Wow. Okay.
It's been probably 12 years.
That's
I
crazy.
haven't seen this in a long time. Well, I love the Impact Zone. This was such a great venue. I loved it. It wasn't very big. You could only seat about 500 fans, but it was such a great atmosphere. I love the Impact Zone. It was awesome. And you know what? It was easy because we did this every week there, or every 2 weeks. We'd do 2 shows every 2 weeks, and the schedule was so easy. We, just go down there. We wouldn't have to travel. It was a lot of fun.
And there's so much history in those studios too. That's where all the old Nickelodeon shows used to be filmed at. They repurposed it for wrestling. Is Keith Mitchell the director at this time for TNA?
Yes, Keith was the director. He did an incredible job. I really love Keith.
He just retired and had his send-off. Anything you want to add about him?
Oh, Keith, I love you, man. You are the best. I miss you, bro. Congratulations on your retirement.
Yeah, he did a great job with AEW too. He really did. So
yeah, he did.
Knows how to make good use of small places. Daly's place isn't a big place, and the Impact Zone certainly not either. And now we are 3 minutes and 40 seconds left with this match. You are up 3-2. And what I love here, Kurt, is you could be playing it safe, but you're putting the offense on. You don't want to allow this guy.
I'm taking a chance by staying on him.
But you don't want to. I mean, it makes sense to me. You don't want to allow this guy to get healthy. You don't want him to get recharged and get a second chance at this. So it makes sense to me that you stay on the offense.
In amateur wrestling, I was never like that. I never went on the defensive side. Even if I was ahead, I always stayed on offense. And that was my mindset. And that's how it was in pro wrestling.
Well, now Joe is firmly on the comeback here. Under 3 minutes to go, slugging away. You on the top. Oh boy, you nearly just fell right off the top there.
Another concussion.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good. And let's just work over that bad knee again.
Yes, let's hurt the bad knee.
Kurt, you're earning the black and
he's like, damn it, that's my wrong knee. You're hurting
You're earning the black and blue reputation, man. I don't think, I know you said that Dave was full of shit before, but I think he might be onto something here after watching this match.
He might be right, at least with the knee.
I can't tell if Joe is selling. I haven't seen any
black and blue marks on Joe yet, but
I can't tell if Joe is selling right now or if he's really hurting, but we are about 2 minutes to go here. I am locked in. I know how this match ends, and I am still totally locked in here.
That's awesome. That's the right psychology. Then we're doing it right, I guess.
That's right. Reverse Irish whip. Oh man,
that had to hurt. I don't remember.
At least you're numb to it because of that step up in
Did you see me slap Joe?
Yep.
And he gave me that super kick.
Yep. Another buster.
Oh shoot.
1, 2. Oh, your foot is on the ropes. Man, the positioning of that.
Oh my gosh. Joe had to set that up.
Oh, of course. But at the same time, Kurt, it's that trademark Kurt Angle last second kick out. You love to take it to the very last second. And even though you're out on your feet, you still knew to do it at just that time.
It's crazy.
That's the instinct.
Here we go. The ankle lock. Kick off.
We got a minute to go.
Oh
here.
no, Joe's got me in the chokehold and there's a minute left. Oh shit.
These are the best. I love when Iron Man matches, or if the time is involved in a match, I love when you're up against the clock and the sense of urgency heats up. The crowd starts building. This is pro wrestling at its best right here. And I'm not just saying that. This is what I love. I said, Kurt, when you feel with it, right? Like I'm locked in here. 35 seconds.
It's crazy because we're not doing a lot of stuff, but the fans are on the edge of their seat, wanting to see. Look,
and he's got you in the ankle lock.
20 seconds left. Joe got the ankle lock on me.
And that is the ultimate insult. Using another guy's finish on him.
Especially if I tap out.
14 seconds.
Come on, Kurt. Hold on.
Oh, man. 10 seconds. Is Kurt going to hold out? He's got one fall to spare.
5 seconds.
Don't do it. 2, 1.
Yeah.
Got out of it. Oh.
I tap after the bell.
You tap 1 second after the bell. The crowd's not entirely sure what's happened yet. And I have to imagine in that moment, I know you don't know, but I imagine Earl told you to tap right after the bell, probably.
Probably, yeah. I don't know. Or I just did it instinctively.
Instinctively. And he's explained to you, look at the facials. Oh, man, this is great storytelling here, Kurt.
This was great. This is a great match.
Oh, and the agony. Joe had you beat, but by 1 second, you last on.
I was really proud of these 3 series of matches with Joe. I think you're right about it, being the best series of matches in TNA history. I believe that because Joe and I had great chemistry together.
And Joe heads out. I really do believe that. And even though you're concussed, you're celebrating, you're channeling it all. That was amazing, Kurt. I thought that was so great. And I really, really enjoyed watching that back.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.